Oh, the broadcast is live. Oh, hello. Excellent. Fantastic. Let's start. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for attending our CV building workshop with the amazing Karimah Shaw. And thank you all for attending Bridging the Gap. So my name is Naomi, and I am the founder of EventGrads. If anyone does have any questions today, please do pop them in the Q&A section of the chat, and we'll be able to answer them towards the end of the presentation. But for now, I will pass you over to Karimah.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share this CV workshop, or should I say CV building workshop. I'm just going to start my presentation. Okay, so as Naomi's introduced me, my name is Karimah. I am a consultant and educator. I bet you're wondering, what is a consultant and educator? Well, I've been working in the recruitment industry for the past 3 years now, working for some of the top recruitment companies and for some of the big sectors as well, one including marketing. And I private tutor on the side, so that's where the educator comes from. And so how I'm going to start this is, there's normally a question I normally ask my, I wouldn't say my students, but my clients or my candidates. And I normally just tell them that everybody has potential. There's nothing you can't do at all. And also normally when people are leaving university, they just believe that everything to get into their career choice, it might be difficult and so forth, but everybody has potential. There's nothing you can't do. You have more skills than you think. You just need to learn the art of transferring. And I was listening to the previous workshop, and I believe his name was Connor, and he was talking about having transferable skills, and that's so important. Also, everybody has the ability to work. There's literally nothing that can stop you, and also everybody has an end goal. There is something you want to achieve, but most importantly, there's something you can bring to the table in every company that you go to. So, you being a graduate, don't think that you're too small. There's always something that you can bring to the table. So with that being said, what is the purpose of a CV? So the purpose of a CV is always to inform. It's a great way to inform employers about your education, your degrees, also your previous experiences, your volunteering work, and also your skills and interests. Whereas you guys are in the events and marketing industry, that's more of a creative field, and you can feel free to be yourself, bring new ideas to the table, and you can actually demonstrate that in your CV. It's also a good way to demonstrate why you are the ideal candidate that an employer or a corporation is looking for. Make yourself stand out. I always say that it may look like an A4 piece of paper or a PDF file, but it's actually your passport into your chosen industry or corporation. So it's always the first step to putting up a good impression for your employers, which also leads to great relationships being built, because your CV is the initial thing that they look at and the first thing that will start to build a relationship and your career moving forward. So I normally get asked the question, what should be on your CV? And how should I structure my CV? Now, this is what I've seen work. Normally, everyone has different ways of, structuring their CVs and what they feel needs to be on there. But especially that you guys are graduates, you need to lead with your education and your qualifications. Just because I'm aware that maybe some of you, this might be your first actual career job, and so forth. So definitely lead with your education. So to start with your contact information. That's your full name, your telephone number, your email address, location. You don't actually have to put your full address. You can just put the area. For example, I live in Bromley, so I just need to put Bromley. I don't need to put the full address. And now that LinkedIn is such a great platform for use meeting new employers or actually getting to know people working in the company that you're looking for, I would suggest that you add your LinkedIn page to it. And if you haven't yet started a LinkedIn profile, I would highly recommend that you actually do that. I'm aware that they had LinkedIn workshop as well. So definitely, re-listen to that if they put the links out there. But yeah, definitely have a LinkedIn profile. Then your personal profile. I will go into a bit more detail in that throughout the slides, but this is where you detail your strengths, your experiences, your interests, and your skills. And it's in like a 4 to 6 maybe line paragraph. It doesn't need to be too long. It just gives the employer an overview and detail of who you are and what you have to offer. It's literally the first thing they read after your name, so you need to make sure you stand out. So for if you're in education, definitely start off with the company that you work. The university that you're studying at and a degree. And if it's a master's, definitely demonstrate that as well. If you've done any work experience, maybe highlight something that you've done in there. But I'll go into a bit more detail shortly. Skills, again, very important. I'll go in a bit more detail. What type of skills that they'll be looking for if you're looking to get into events, management, marketing, and so forth. Very, very important in how you demonstrate that and also evidence backing your skills. Education and qualifications is next. So that's the degree level, institution, date, and your grades. Since you're at university level, and maybe this might be your first career role, definitely put down modules that match the job description that you believe will match. It just shows that you have a bit of insight into the specific role. And also, you don't need to go into too much detail on your GCSEs or your A levels, just because your degree will hold more weight. Then you can go on to do your current or your previous employment and volunteering if you have done so. So you have to start with your most current employment first. If you have any gaps on your CV, so for example, you've been studying for 4 years and your last role was maybe in 2016, then you can actually demonstrate there that you were studying. So the gap is fine. It's just as long as you notify them why there is a gap. And then again, your interests, awards, and references. Employers do expect to see this. The reason being, they want to know what type, what's your personality? What are you interested in? Are you a great culture fit for the company? Because every institution actually has their own culture. So from that, they will get to see if you can fit in with some of the employees. For example, if you like to go to the gym, they may see that you have something in common with someone on your team as well. So that they look into all of these things. You don't need to go into too much detail, but obviously it is important because you've just spoken about all your professional skills, but they actually want to see who you are as a person. Now, job match, tailoring your CV. This is where people get lost. They don't know what's the first thing I do. I always say brainstorm. Brainstorm before you start putting things on your CV. And whereas this is a career CV and not just just applying for a job that's a part-time job, there's a big difference in how you would go about doing things. Every job has different requirements, so I would suggest that you actually take your time, brainstorm and see where your skills or your experiences or your qualification matches that job description, I would suggest not doing just one generic CV and just sending it out, but actually taking your time to see what the job involves. That takes you spending time looking at the job description and putting down where your focus on your select skills and experiences that perfectly matches. What you want to do is basically like Cupid. Okay, you have this quality and I have this quality, and this is what you need. This is a match made in heaven. But also it shows what you can put on your CV as well. Another thing I would suggest is your skills. So find out what skills, qualifications, and experiences are required. Nowadays, technology is a big thing in the recruitment industry. So there's a system that actually just takes out the key words that the company is looking for. For example, if it's a database that you've used and that company needs is there's a database that the company is like literally wanting to use, they would just look for that keyword in your CV. So it's very important that you actually detail your skills, qualifications, and experience that are required for the role, and also link your own skills, experiences, and qualifications, jobs. Give evidence as well, giving evidence to how you've gained those skills. So, for example, if it's a system that they've used, and this is the system that they're looking to use, then demonstrate how you've used it and when you used it, and the outcome that came out of using that system. And the person, again, look at the job details, the person spec, what personality would suit the job. So back to the personal summary, what to include. So again, qualifications. Have you got a diploma in event management, degrees in marketing or business, a specific system that you've used? That's also included in your personal summary if that's what's important on the job description. Level of experience. As you guys would be recent graduates, or you might be a student, you need to add I am studying or I am a recent graduate, just so that they're aware of your entry level. If you are experienced in the industry, you can say you're a recent graduate but have so-and-so years of experience. Event-specific skills, so they are looking for someone that will be able to negotiate, good at budgeting, project management, creativity skills, and also leadership skills. These are the things that they are looking for. So I would suggest that you put it in your personal summary, because again, the system that recruiters or employers use actually picks out of these keywords. Have you planned any conferences? So, what type of businesses? Was it a large scale marketing event, a small scale one? Is it for private customers? These are the things that that will capture their attention. So the common skills for events and marketing entry-level positions, they require excellent and verbal written communication skills. Some project management skills such as organization, time management, and problem solving. So project management skills, whereas you coordinated between clients and contractors and key suppliers efficiently. Also, being able to use emails and social media nowadays, being tech savvy, especially during this time, during COVID-19, everything's sort of more virtual now. So being able to be hands-on, efficient, actually demonstrating that in your skills. Leadership skills as well, being able to show leadership capacity, managing bar staff or, managing, event staff. These things are very key, and that's what they look for. Negotiation skills. Be an event manager, you need to be able to get the best rates from contractors. So these are the things that they're looking for when it comes to common skills. And a key point that I've added there is just, again, scanning the job description. This is why reading and actually taking time to, they always say searching for a job is like a full-time role. It is, because you actually have to do your research and you're not just clicking apply, send CV. You're actually taking your time to really see what they're looking for and how you match that position. And you'll probably find that you've actually picked up more skills through your degree or part-time roles. So identifying the transferable skills is very important. So key responsibilities. This is the part where, sometimes you may have people just bullet pointing what they've done. It might be short, it might be long paragraphs. This is the part where people don't really know where they belong. So I've now structured it in a way, maybe this might help you. So they want to see people that you've interacted with, whereas in this industry, customers or clients, management, suppliers and contractors. How have you interacted with them? What was the outcome? What was the impacts that you've had as well? Tools and softwares used. Databases, Microsoft Office, virtual event platforms now during this time, very important. product service knowledge, prove your expertise in the field. What makes you an event manager, or what do they use that you know about, and that you've probably done a work experience. Put it there as well. They need to see that. Outcomes, environments that you've worked in. Have you worked in a stadium? Have you worked in for a big corporate company? You planned an event for them, or even at your university, maybe you've planned an event for your for Freshers Weekend, or maybe for your course. Put that out there. They want to see what you've done, the outcome, and etc. That's what they want to see. Also, at the end of putting your key responsibilities, your key achievements. This includes your impressive achievements that have had a positive impact on your players. So, for example, you can highlight your achievement where you produced an event for X amount of people, and over a month of days as well, and how much you spent during that event, and out of the budget. How much have you negotiated? These are the things they want to see. You've reduced organization spend by so and so amount. This is the key things that they're looking for. Someone that's that's able to produce results, but also to save money for the company, or make the most out of a budget. These are the things that they want to be able to see. So if you've been able to do that, then I would definitely suggest that you put it there. It doesn't matter how small it was. You might have been able to do it, host a birthday party for your friend. That's content. That's something that you have done. You've been able to work within a budget. You need to demonstrate that there. I've added at the bottom here words to use. So normally people say, "Oh, I've done this," or "I've done." No, use words like "I've demonstrated," or "I've designed," "I've developed," "I've improved," "I've increased," I've increased clientele. These are things that really make you stand out. So, to the do's and don'ts. It's so important that you keep a consistent layout. Fonts, Arial, Times New Roman, or Calibri, font size 11 to 12. The reason why we say that is normally people feel like they need to do a nice, fancy, if you're going through recruitment anyway, consultancy, you don't need a fancy CV. Just a standard CV, because it gets formatted anyway. That's what people don't really know. So all that time that you spend putting a photo, or making it look fancy with the colors, etc., it just gets put into a formatted template, which is literally the most important: the personal profile, the key skills, the education, and the work experience. So you just need to keep it as a consistent layout throughout. Relevant experience, include experience relevant to the job ad, paid or voluntary work, it doesn't matter, just make sure it's just relevant to the job. Hence why you may need to have more than one CV to match the jobs that you're applying for. And I would definitely advise that you pick out of 10 jobs that you've probably looked at, maybe pick out the 3 that you'll be spending time changing your CV for and applying to, and then maybe move on. So in job search, you have to actually plan. It can't just be, okay, one day I'm just going to send CVs. No, you actually have to take your time out and really, plan, okay, what's my top 3 companies that I'm applying for? Okay, now I need to brainstorm. So, taking your time is very important. Skills and achievements, very important to add skills and achievements backed up with evidence. You can do this as a separate section, or add in your previous work experience shown in slide 10, but I think it might be different now. Also add keywords. So yeah, again, keywords, very important. These are the things that will make you stand out and make your CV being selected out of the system. As you can imagine, there's thousands of people applying for a role. So what will make you stand out? Don'ts. Gaps. Don't leave gaps in employment history. If you were employed but still looking, then state that, for example, that you were studying. Copy and paste. Don't just copy and paste list of duties on your job roles. Try to explain as much as you can. Think about your everyday duties and just jotting them down. Copy and paste it doesn't doesn't tell me much as a consultant who you are as a person. I want to know that you've actually done the role and you actually understand what the job consists of. Presentation, it's a no-no for poor presentation. You wouldn't go to an interview without presenting yourself well. So just make sure you keep your fonts and your sizes consistent, and don't overdo it. Keep it short, preferable 1 to 2 pages long. That's the maximum that we like looking at anyway. So thank you. I hope you've been able to get something from this. If you would like your CV reviewed, do please contact me. There's my LinkedIn profile, and also my email address is there as well. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Karimah. That was amazing. And we do actually have quite a few questions, some that are actually quite similar. So I'll kind of bunch them up a little bit. One of these questions you'll probably have assumed that we would get, and it's in the kind of line of creative CVs, which you've probably seen a bit of a craze for yourself online, and especially in the marketing world. So Benedicta asks, what do you think about colour on a CV? And then Esther is, with the new trend of creative CVs, where's the balance between simple, clean and creative?
Yeah. So with the creative CVs, if you are going through a recruitment consultancy, chances are it's going to get formatted to be sent over to the employers. So that's where it's like, do you want to spend so much time putting boxes and changing around your CV, or would you just like to keep it consistent to the structure, because that's what they're going to do anyway. It saves time for the consultant rather than them trying to pick out the little things. You can keep it creative. You are sending straight to employer and you believe that that's what they're looking for, but again, keeping it structured in a way that they can just, because sometimes I've had a look at CVs and their skills are on one side, their education is on this side. So having to look for everything, it just takes a lot of time. So if everything's sort of structured in a way I can see it keeps me interested. I want to go from the personal profile straight down to the education without having to look for it. It's just all about what you believe is going to, hope that answers your question.
Works for you. No worries. And the next one's another question that's been asked a few times, is about the 1 to 2 pages. So do you recommend it being on 1 page, or what's your recommendation?
Well, it can be on 2 pages. Sometimes if you are, emphasizing on your degree, that might take a bit of space. You don't want to go into too much detail as well. It's just the modules that you believe will help you, that will help capture the attention of the employer. So 1 to 2 pages is absolutely fine. If you have got work experience, volunteering work, they do want to see that, especially if it does match the job description. So again, 1 to 2 pages is fine.
I think with it as well, it's like, make sure it's tailored to the job. So if you've got some work experience that's maybe relevant to one job but not to the other, that's where you can kind of draw the line. But with 2 pages in the events industry, we will have a lot of experience. And this is something Charlie's asked, actually. As someone who's been working for 16 years and done mostly seasonal work, my CV is extensive, and I've been told I look like I leave jobs too often, and has had a negative effect on me finding work. But in fact, it with seasonal contracts, how would you suggest making my CV look more hireable? Some of the jobs look great on a CV but get overlooked due to the fact I've moved on jobs a lot.
That's a very good question, actually, because we do see that quite a lot. Again, it's all about tailoring your CV. If you have one CV for everything, they will just see it as that you haven't spent time to really tailor yourself to that specific role. You may have loads of experience in the events world, but they're actually just looking for a specific quality for that role. So maybe just tailoring it down to what they're looking for. And then when you do go to the interview, when you do have the chance to get to the interview, maybe just explain about your experience and what you've done so far throughout 16 years. But if it's specific things that they're looking for, then maybe just tailor your CV and shorten it down for just what they need.
I agree. And the last one from Freya then is, how would you best evidence skills like time management or attention to detail without sounding too generic?
Backing it with evidence. So, for example, if we're going to use project management, you're coordinating with clients. So, how do you coordinate with clients? Emailing clients, phone calls. These are the things that they know that, okay, you've been able to manage between clients, suppliers, and also management as well. So how do you do it?
It's those it's the achieving words, I think, that you mentioned as well. What I've found in writing CVs as well is it's not the doing words, it's the achieving words, and it's like the action words. So as you said, like, I demonstrated this, I didn't just, do it.
Exactly. I've been able to, my clientele or my supplier, just things like that. That's how they will notice.
Absolutely. And that's something I've actually ended up Googling, which you can find sometimes, is those action words and a list of them. And honestly, sometimes I just go through them all and that sounds good. Perfect. We've got one last question, was about photos on your CV. So I know that this is kind of like a bit of a debate through recruitment. So what's your thoughts on putting your photo on your CV?
You don't need your photo on the CV. If you have your LinkedIn profile on there, they're most likely going to go on your profile. Again, if you're going for a recruitment industry, chances are your photo is not going to be on the formatted CV, just because of diversity and inclusion. They want to be able to sell your experiences and obviously your qualifications before they have to sell you as a person. Chances are sometimes they literally just your personal profile and your first name, just so that they're selling what's the most important thing there, which is your experience.
Agreed. Oh, wonderful. Well, unless anyone has any kind of last minute questions there, I'll ask one myself. What is your top tip out of everything you've said? I'm going to make this a hard one, but what would your top tip be to, event students and graduates at the moment? They're going into, it's been a bit of a weird year, and the event industry, it seems to have looked a bit grim, but it's going to be such demand when things get back to, I'm not even going to say back to normal, but when things get back into live events and things, there's going to be such a demand for, students, graduates experience. Yeah. And what's the top thing you would recommend for us to kind of put on our CVs and, stand out?
Yeah, sure. I think during this time, this gives you room for research, finding out what you can do and building your portfolio. So even if it's just hosting online events, here and there, building your confidence and building your network, I think that's a good start, because during this time we don't know, but the only thing we can do, we can utilize what we do have, and that's researching and obviously building network. So I think that's what we should really do, utilizing LinkedIn, using the messaging aspect as well, asking questions. You don't need to always be on LinkedIn to look for a job. You can actually just ask advice on people that are actually thriving in those industries. So yeah, just building your network and obviously research.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys very much for watching and joining myself and Karimah. It's been a fantastic workshop, so thank you so much for your time. So the next panel that we've got coming up is our workshop, in fact, is our virtual interview techniques with Guy from Illegal Recruitment. So if you guys can come out of this session and pop back into the next session and refresh your page, we will see you on the next workshop. Thank you guys very much for watching.
Thank you.